Hello again. We are going to talk about today perimeter and area of squares and rectangles. This should be somewhat familiar with you from last year, but we need to review it before moving forward. So I have a personal connection to this because my parents just decided to redo their bathroom. So they decided to completely rip it out and redo everything. This is similar to the design they came up with. Not exactly, but similar. And two of the things I know of them doing was buying new tile floor and buying new trim to go around the edge of the bathroom. So that's the math they did for that was the same we will be doing today. So to find the edging that they needed to do or the measure around the room, they had to find the perimeter. And to find the space of tile they were going to need, they were finding the area of the space that they needed tile. So for the perimeter, they needed to measure here. So now I'm going to go behind the tub. And for the area, it was all this tiled space. So saying that, the objective today is we will be able to describe the process to solve for area and perimeter of square and a rectangle. Okay, so you'll not only be able to describe the process, but also be able to solve it yourself. So let's go into those heavy definitions. The first one is perimeter. The perimeter is a total distance around an object. And this is for every shape. Every shape uses perimeter in the same way. So you have the lengths of your shape, and all you do to find perimeter is add them up. Okay? So perimeter, one key little bit of the word in there is rim. And if you think about rim as the edging, you are adding up the edge lengths to find the perimeter. It's important that we don't get these vocabulary words mixed up. The next one is the area. So the area is the space inside a shape. This is where we have different, what we call formulas to solve for different shapes. So you are finding the area inside a shape if you are finding the area. So I said for each one, we will have different formulas. Formulas are what we use to solve for a measurement with a shape. And if we think back to the beginning of the year, well, a few months in, we did volume and we had our volume formula. And we did something times something times something to find that volume. It was length times width times height. So we're now only dealing with two-dimensional shapes. So to find area of a square or rectangle, we're going to use the formula length times width, which will give us our area in square, whatever the dimensions are. So if you look right here at the bottom of this, it's length times width for the area of a square or a rectangle. Okay, I'm going to show you some of those examples now. Okay, we're going to start with a square example. So we're going to start with perimeter. So if we're finding the perimeter of this square, we have to add up all the side lengths. On our square, only two lengths are given. So then we have to think about, what do we already know about a square? We know for a square that all the lengths are the same size. So that means this length is also 4 inches, and this is 4 inches. So we're going to take all the sides to find perimeter and do 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4. Now, since they all are the same, you also could have done 4 times 4, which in both cases will give us 16, and then the dimensions, which is inches. Now for area, we have to use the square and rectangle area formula, which is length times width will equal our area. So now we plug in what is our length and what is our width. We can go back to those two dimensions that were given at the beginning. So length would be 4 inches times width is 4 inches. So the area of this is the same number as perimeter, but here's where we're going to get something different. We are finding how many inches can fit inside this. So that's 16 square inch. So now let's try a rectangle example. Flip this around. And we again will start with perimeter. As you notice, only 2 dimensions are given. So, or 2 measurements are given. So perimeter equals, we have to think, what is this length going to be? It's 6 inches as well, because we know a rectangle is going to have congruent parallel sides. Same for here. 2 inches, the same as across. So now with perimeter, we're going to add all those up. So we have 6 plus 6 plus then the other two sides. 2 plus 2, which gives us 6 plus 6, we know is 12. 2 plus 2 is 4, giving us 16 again. That was a coincidence. So 16 inches, not square inches. That will come with area. So moving on to area. So area, again, the formula for squares and rectangles, length times width. The length is going to be that 6. So we have 6 times the width is 2. 6 times 2 equals 12. And we're talking about area. So how much can fit inside? So that is square inches. All right.